I always start my workouts by taking a few minutes to connect to my core, and this is pretty much all of the abdominal work that I do. So just taking a few deep breaths, inhaling into my rib cage and exhaling, wrapping my core, engaging my transverse abdominals, and lifting my pelvic floor. I place my thumb on my rib cage and my index and middle finger about 2 inches in from my hip bone so that I can feel my rib cage expand and my transverse abdominals engage. Once I've made that connection, I'll start alternating lifting my legs and lowering, holding on to my abdominals. So I usually do that about 4 times, and then I move to both legs at the same time for about 8 to 10 reps. I keep my feet flexed just because I think you get a little bit bigger range of motion by doing that. From there, I move into dead bugs, which is such an awesome exercise. I wish I would have learned this sooner in life. This is sped up for the purpose of this video. Just keep in mind, slow and controlled is where you want to be. So I think I alternated the dead bugs 8 to 10 times, and then I'm moving into bicycle crunches, and I usually do 10 to 20. Again, slow and controlled, pressing my low back into the floor, keeping those abdominals engaged and pulling into the center. Again, sped up just for the purpose of this video. From there, I'll go into a plank that I'll hold anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds before I go into some dynamic stretches to finish off my warm-up. To start, I'm doing Romanian deadlifts into a B-Stance Romanian deadlift. I'm using 20-pound dumbbells, but remember to use whatever weight is appropriate for you. For my dancers out there, this is essentially a flat back position. So I'm sticking my hips back and hinging, going into my flat back, and then pushing through my heel and lifting up, squeezing my glutes at the top. And as always, thinking about keeping my TVA engaged, pulling my core into the center as I'm doing the movement. Next are goblet squats. You want to stand with your heels about shoulder width apart, your toes turned slightly out. You're going to track your knee over your second and third toe. You keep the weight at your chest with your elbows going between your legs. You want to really think about taking your knees out as you go down. You don't want your knees to cave in. Sit your hips back, lower down, and then press through your heels to come up. Banded glute bridge. If you don't have a band, just do it without. You want to place your heels about shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out. You're pressing through your heels, squeezing your glutes at the top, and you want to maintain that abduction, so you're thinking about pressing your knees out. To finish off, I'm doing 20 banded side steps followed by 20 banded gate swings. Again, if you don't have a band, do it without. I would just go deeper on the side steps and wider on the gate swings. If you are using a band, really make sure that you're thinking about pressing those knees out during the gate swings so that your knees aren't collapsing in, tracking your knees over the second and third toe.